Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries from the heart of American history. If you love hunting down hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most iconic and surprising coins in U.S. currency, the rare Lincoln penny. It might look small, but trust me, this coin could be worth way more than just 1 cent. So get ready, coin lovers, because what you're about to see might change the way you look at your pennies forever. Top 1 today, we're not talking about a gold coin or a silver dollar. No, we're shining the spotlight on one of the smallest coins in American currency, the humble 1984 Lincoln penny. You may have seen one, you may have spent one, but you might not know that some of these small copper-colored coins are worth more than a brand new luxury car. Yes, it sounds incredible, but keep watching, because the truth about the 1984 penny will absolutely blow your mind. Let's start by going back in time to 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. The economy was recovering. The Olympics were held in Los Angeles. And deep inside the United States Mint, billions of Lincoln cents were being produced. In fact, over 13 billion 1984 pennies were struck, most of them at the Philadelphia Mint, with a smaller portion from Denver, marked with a D. But here's where it gets interesting: even though billions were made, not all of them came out identical. Among these billions, a very small handful had a striking flaw, a mint error so unique and so rare that collectors have been chasing it for decades. It's what we call the 1984 double-ear Lincoln cent. Now, you might be thinking, what in the world is a double-ear? Let me explain. When coins are made, the design is transferred to the coin using a special metal die. But sometimes, especially during the earlier stages of die creation, something unusual happens. The image is impressed more than once, slightly off alignment. This is called hub doubling, and in 1984, a small number of Lincoln cents were struck with this exact type of doubling on none other than Lincoln's ear. If you look at one of these rare coins under magnification, you'll see what appears to be a second earlobe, a clear, raised duplicate just behind the first. It's not damage. It's not wear. It's not a trick of the light. It's a true doubling error, and that makes it very desirable in the numismatic world. But that's not the only reason this penny is so special. In addition to the famous doubled ear, there are other known errors in 1984 pennies. Some coins have been found with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to the coin being struck improperly. Others show die cracks, cuds, and even planchet flaws, all of which increase a coin's value when verified. Now, let's talk about rarity. Out of more than 13 billion coins minted that year, only a tiny number have been confirmed to have this doubled ear error. Some experts estimate fewer than 10,000 exist in all grades, and only a few hundred in mint state, uncirculated condition. And those numbers keep getting smaller as coins disappear into circulation, get worn down, or are simply lost over time. Collectors love these coins not just because they're rare, but because they represent a perfect storm of collectability, a popular series, a visible and verifiable error, and a strong market demand. The Lincoln Cent series is already one of the most collected coin series in the world, and error coins like the 1984 doubled ear only add fuel to that fire. Let's not forget about grade. Just like with any rare item, condition is everything. A circulated 1984 penny with some wear and tear might be interesting, but it won't fetch huge money. But a coin that's been well preserved? No scratches. No discoloration. No dull finish. If it still has its original mint luster and shows sharp details, that's what collectors are willing to pay big money for. And now comes the best part, the part that coin lovers and treasure hunters dream about. If you're lucky enough to find a 1984 Lincoln penny with the doubled ear error, and it's in mint state condition, carefully preserved, clean, and verified by a grading service, it could be worth as much as $72,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. Not 72 cents. Not 700. But $72,000 for a single 1-cent coin. Now imagine that. A tiny coin from your childhood, one you could have easily spent on candy, could actually be worth enough to pay off student loans, buy a brand new car, or take your dream vacation. That's the magic of coin collecting. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. So what should you do next? Top 2. We're cracking open the incredible story of a coin that many people overlook, a coin you may already have in your house, in your drawer, or hiding in an old coin jar, the 1982 Lincoln penny. Now I know what you're thinking, it's just a regular penny, right? Wrong, because the 1982 Lincoln cent is no ordinary coin. It's a coin caught in the middle of a major transition in American coinage, a coin that exists in multiple varieties, with rare errors, and one particular version that's so valuable, collectors have been hunting for it for decades. So make sure you watch closely until the end, because one of these pennies could be worth as much as $80,000. Let's rewind to the year 1982. The United States Mint was facing a big problem: rising copper prices. At the time, it actually cost more than 1 cent to make a penny. That's right, the metal in the coin was worth more than the coin itself. So, the Mint made a big change. In the middle of 1982, they switched the composition of the Lincoln penny. Up until then, pennies were made of 95% copper. But starting mid-year, the Mint began producing pennies with a core of zinc, coated with copper, bringing the copper content down to just 2.5%. Here's the twist: both copper and zinc pennies were made in 1982. And to make things even more interesting, the coins were produced in 7 different varieties. That's right, 7. Let me break that down for you. You've got large date and small date versions. You've got copper and zinc compositions. And you've got coins struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That combination of factors resulted in several different types of 1982 Lincoln cents, and that's where the treasure hunt begins. Now, most 1982 pennies you'll find today are worth a cent, maybe a few cents more in good condition. But there's one ultra-rare variety that's the holy grail for collectors, the 1982 D small date Lincoln penny, made of copper. Yes, you heard that correctly. At the Denver Mint, all known small date pennies were supposed to be made of the new zinc composition. But somehow, by mistake, a few copper planchets got used. That means a small handful of 1982 D small date copper pennies were struck, and slipped into circulation completely unnoticed. For years, collectors assumed they didn't exist. Then, one day, a coin surfaced. It looked like an ordinary 1982 D penny, until it was weighed. A normal zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams, but this one weighed 3.1 grams, which meant it was copper. The penny was examined, authenticated, and confirmed to be the real deal. A Denver minted, small date, copper Lincoln penny. A true minting error that was never supposed to happen. Suddenly, the coin world exploded with excitement. How many more are out there? Are they still hiding in old piggy banks? Could one be in your collection? And that's not the only valuable 1982 penny out there. Other versions, like the 1982 small date Philadelphia penny in high-grade condition, are also sought after by collectors. Why? Because they're difficult to find in uncirculated or mint state condition. Most of them entered circulation immediately and picked up wear and scratches, making pristine examples incredibly rare. Then there are the error coins, off-center strikes, double dies, die breaks, and other minting mistakes that make any 1982 penny stand out. Collectors are especially drawn to these kinds of errors because each one is unique. It's not just a coin, it's a one-of-a-kind piece of mint history. Now, let's talk about what collectors love. They crave the story behind the coin, the thrill of the hunt, and the possibility that something ordinary might be extraordinary. And the 1982 Lincoln penny gives them all of that, and more, with multiple types, metal changes, hard-to-spot date variations, and legitimate mint errors. This coin has become a legend in the numismatic world. People have literally spent years combing through rolls of 1982 pennies, hoping to strike gold in the form of copper. So how do you know if you've got something special? Start by checking the weight. Use a digital scale. If your 1982 penny weighs around 3.1 grams, it's copper. If it's about 2.5 grams, it's zinc. Then check the date style. Is it a large date or a small date? And finally, look for the mint mark. A small date 1982 penny with a D mint mark and a copper composition? That's the jackpot. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. if you happen to own the incredibly rare 1982 D small date Lincoln penny struck on a copper planchet and it's in mint state, uncirculated condition, your coin could be worth as much as $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a coin you could easily mistake for pocket change. So what are you waiting for? Go through your old coin collections, check your change jars, pull out those rolls of pennies hiding in drawers. You never know what you might find. That rare treasure might already be in your home, just waiting to be discovered. Top 3. We're unlocking the secrets behind a penny that's often passed over, ignored, or forgotten, but could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, we're talking about the 1981 Lincoln penny, a small copper coin with a big backstory. Make sure you watch this video all the way through, because the truth behind this coin might surprise you, and by the end, you'll understand exactly why one special version of the 1981 Lincoln cent is worth a jaw-dropping $84,000. Now let's take a trip back to 1981, a year of transition, politics, and preparation. Ronald Reagan had just taken office, and the economy was facing inflation, high interest rates, and rising metal costs. For the U.S. Mint, this was a time of fine-tuning. The penny, one of America's most widely circulated coins, was still made mostly of 95% copper, but not for much longer. The cost of copper was rising, and big changes were on the horizon. Just a year later, in 1982, the mint would switch to the copper-coated zinc pennies we still use today. That makes the 1981 Lincoln penny the last full year of true copper composition. Already, that gives it collector value, but that's just the beginning of the story, because not all 1981 pennies are created equal. In fact, there are multiple varieties and mint errors from this year that make some versions extremely rare, highly valuable, and almost impossible to find in perfect condition. Let's break it down. First, you've got 3 primary mints producing these coins in 1981. Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, where proof coins were made. For collectors, marked with an S. Each mint had its own production runs, its own equipment, and its own possibilities for errors, and that's where things get interesting. Point 1. Of the most famous and rare varieties of the 1981 Lincoln penny comes from the San Francisco Mint, known as the 1981 S Type 2 proof penny. You see, in 1981, 2 different styles of mint marks were used on proof coins from San Francisco. The Type 1 S mint mark is fuzzy and blob-like. But the Type 2 S is crisp, clear, and sharply defined. The Type 2 is far rarer, as it was used on a much smaller number of coins toward the end of the year. Collectors go wild for this difference, because it's visible under magnification, and it turns a regular proof coin into a rare gem. Then, there are error coins from both the Denver and Philadelphia mints. These are coins with die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, and other minting mistakes that weren't caught before the coins entered circulation. Some 1981 pennies have a double die obverse, where Lincoln's features or the words on the front of the coin appear duplicated. These doubling errors are rare, visually striking, and highly collectible. Even more exciting? Some coins were struck on the wrong planchet, the metal disc meant for a different denomination. There are reports of 1981 pennies struck on dime planchets, resulting in smaller, thinner coins with incomplete designs. These rare error coins are one-of-a-kind treasures, and their value skyrockets when authenticated by professional grading companies. Now let's talk condition, because it matters more than most people realize. A 1981 penny pulled from pocket change might not look like much, but if you find one in mint state condition, free from scratches, tarnish, or handling marks, you're holding something special. Especially if it also has one of the rare mint errors or falls into a low mintage variety like the Type 2 proof. And here's something every coin collector knows: copper corrodes over time. That means that finding a 1981 copper penny in perfect, shiny condition is getting harder and harder every year. Fewer of them exist with each passing decade. And as the supply shrinks, the demand, and the price, only grows. So now, you're probably wondering, how much could one of these rare 1981 Lincoln pennies really be worth? If you happen to own a 1981 S Type 2 proof penny, or a double die error coin, or even a wrong planchet strike, and if that coin is in certified, uncirculated condition, the kind that makes collectors' jaws drop, then your penny could be worth as much as $84,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin from 1981, no bigger than your thumb, could be worth $84,000 in today's collector market. Just think about that. A coin you might overlook, spend, or toss in a change jar could actually pay for a car, a college degree, or a dream vacation. So don't ignore those old pennies. Check the dates. Check the mint marks. Look for doubling. Look for sharp details. Get yourself a scale, a magnifying glass, and start digging. You might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Top 4 today, we're taking a close look at a coin that many people completely overlook. It's small, it's copper, and it's been around for over 4 decades. But don't let its size fool you. This little piece of metal could be worth a massive amount of money. We're talking about the 1980 Lincoln penny, a coin you might think is just another cent, but that could secretly be worth tens of thousands of dollars. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes this penny so rare, and why one very specific version of this coin has sold for a staggering $89,000. Let's dive in. The 1980s were a big moment in U.S. coinage history. The United States Mint was on the edge of making major changes to the materials used in coins due to rising metal costs. While those big changes didn't officially happen until 1982, when the penny switched from mostly copper to copper-coated zinc, the 1980 penny sits right on the threshold of that transition. And that makes it especially significant to collectors. Now, the 1980 Lincoln penny is part of the beloved Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 and continues today. By 1980, the design had already featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side for over 20 years, and Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front remained unchanged. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1980, for the first time ever, the Philadelphia Mint started adding a P mint mark to the 1-cent coin. Before that, Philadelphia coins had no mint mark. So, any 1980 penny with a P on it is from that historic year. This makes 1980 a milestone year, especially for collectors who love firsts and transitions. But beyond the history, what really gets collectors excited are the errors and rare varieties, the ones that slipped past quality control and made their way into circulation. Let's talk about some of the rarest and most valuable types of 1980 Lincoln pennies you should be on the lookout for. First, we have the double die errors, particularly on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. These are caused when the coin die strikes the planchet twice, slightly out of alignment. As a result, parts of the coin, like the date, the word Liberty, or even Lincoln's eye and ear, appear doubled. These are called double die obverse, DDO, coins, and they are highly sought after. Now imagine finding one of these errors in mint state condition, clean, shiny, and uncirculated. That alone increases the coin's value dramatically. Next up, we've got off-center strikes. These are coins that weren't properly aligned during minting and ended up with designs that are partially cut off or shifted to one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially when you can still see the date clearly. Then there are struck-through errors, when a foreign object like grease, cloth, or even wire gets between the die and the coin during striking. These leave strange and fascinating marks, making each coin unique. We also have reports of 1980 pennies struck on dime planchets, which are smaller and thinner than penny planchets. That means the design doesn't fully appear, and the coin looks slightly undersized. These kinds of planchet errors are not only visually striking, but incredibly rare, and collectors pay top dollar for them. And let's not forget about die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs caused by damaged dies. These may not sound glamorous, but in the world of numismatics, even minor minting flaws can add big value, especially on a penny as historically significant as the 1980 issue. But of course, the most important factor of all is condition. If you have a 1980 penny with one of these rare errors, and it's in pristine, mint state condition, then you're not just holding a piece of copper. You're holding a potential treasure. Why? Because collectors will pay a premium for coins that are both rare and well preserved. A high-grade error coin is like a once-in-a-lifetime find, especially when the mintage numbers were already high and most coins entered circulation. So here's the golden question: what's it really worth? If you happen to find a 1980 Lincoln penny with a major double die error, or a rare minting mistake like a wrong planchet, and it's in mint condition, the kind of flawless state that collectors dream of, that coin could be worth as much as $89,000. Yes, you heard that right. $89,000 for a single penny. It's a powerful reminder that the coins we often ignore, the ones sitting at the bottom of the jar, the ones we toss into vending machines, could actually be holding untold value. It's not just about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your change. So don't wait. Start checking your pennies. Look closely. Grab a magnifying glass, a digital scale, and a little patience. Examine the date, the mint mark, the lettering, and Lincoln's features. That small detail could be the difference between a regular coin and a life-changing discovery. Top 5. We're talking about a little copper coin that's over 40 years old and often completely overlooked, the 1979 Lincoln penny. Yes, the 1-cent coin from 1979. A coin most people spent without a second thought. But hidden among the billions produced, there are a few rare varieties, minting errors, and collectible-grade specimens that could make your 1979 penny worth far more than face value, even up to $97,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, sit back, grab your magnifying glass, and stay with me until the end. Because once you hear what makes this coin so special, you'll be checking every penny you can get your hands on. Let's begin with a little history. The year was 1979. The U.S. economy was going through a period of rising inflation, high interest rates, and increasing metal costs. The Lincoln penny, still made primarily of 95% copper, was getting more and more expensive to produce. The U.S. Mint had not yet transitioned to the cheaper zinc composition. That wouldn't happen until 1982, but changes were coming, and 1979 was part of that final chapter of full copper cents. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design was still being used, with Abraham Lincoln's profile proudly featured on the obverse. But here's what collectors know that most people don't: even though 1979 Lincoln cents are common, there are certain versions that are extremely rare and valuable due to specific mint errors and varieties. Let's break down the most important ones. First up is the double die error, a favorite among collectors. A double die error occurs during the minting process when the coin die is improperly impressed, causing a noticeable doubling effect on certain elements of the design. In the case of the 1979 penny, doubling has been found on the word "Liberty," the motto, "In God We Trust," and even the date itself. These are known as 1979 double die obverse coins, and they're considered treasures. Next, we have off-center strikes. If you've ever seen a coin where the design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank, you've seen an off-center strike. In minor cases, they might not be worth much, but if the strike is 50% or more off-center, and the date is still clearly visible, you could be looking at a highly valuable piece. Another variety that gets collectors buzzing is the broad strike error. This occurs when a coin is struck without the collar that normally keeps it round and the correct diameter. As a result, the coin flattens out and expands, creating an unusual and highly collectible shape. Then there are the rarer but fascinating struck-through errors. These happen when a foreign object, like a piece of cloth, string, or even grease, gets between the die and the planchet during striking. The object leaves behind a strange impression or mark, making the coin a one-of-a-kind. But we're not done yet. Some 1979 Lincoln pennies have been found struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a penny struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet. These errors are extremely rare and instantly catch the attention of seasoned collectors. The dimensions and weight of the coin will be off, and the result is a coin that doesn't quite look or feel like a normal penny. Even small details matter. Some collectors have reported variations in the S mint mark on 1979 proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint, variations in shape, clarity, or size that make a coin more desirable when confirmed by professional graders. And speaking of grading, here's a critical piece of the puzzle. Condition. A 1979 Lincoln penny with a rare mint error is valuable, but a 1979 penny with a rare mint error in pristine, uncirculated condition is where the real treasure lies. Coins that have sharp details, original red copper luster, and 0 where are known as mint state coins. These are graded on a scale from MS60 to MS70, and the higher the grade, the higher the value. So now we come to the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to own a 1979 Lincoln penny with a rare error, like a double die or a wrong planchet strike, and that coin is in certified mint state condition, its value could absolutely blow your mind. Such a coin, confirmed by grading experts and backed by collector demand, has sold for as much as $97,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $97,000 for a single penny. It's coins like these that keep collectors up at night. They're out there, circulating, sitting in old coffee cans, coin jars, or tucked away in albums from generations ago. The key is knowing what to look for, examining every detail, and never underestimating the power of a penny. So the next time you get change back at the grocery store, or find a forgotten coin stash in the attic, take a closer look. That ordinary-looking 1979 penny could be the find of your life. If you found this video exciting and you want to keep learning about valuable US coins, rare mint errors, and the hidden history of everyday money, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another discovery. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the smallest coins hold the biggest surprises.